Plasma air, we've got a very specific focus over the last 3 months on coronavirus, helping companies get back to, we've been doing it for 10 years, but the last 3 months have been all about helping companies get back to work by eliminating coronavirus in the breathing space, in offices, etc. On the left-hand side here, we can see the Lagos State advice in terms of hygiene and how to make sure that we're all safe. Our technology is used in addition to that to disinfect the air inside buildings, which of course is how the coronavirus spreads from person to person. So we've just got a nice graphic here, very bad looking coronavirus. Basically, we look at treating the air within the air handling systems to ensure that the air becomes safe within the offices. And I've got some test results where I can show. We've done tests over the years, and we've done some tests now in the last 3 weeks, specifically on coronavirus room that was nebulized with the virus, and we saw kill rates of 99% after 4 minutes. And I'll show you that data. It's pretty, we were impressed ourselves. Here's a graphic of a typical workspace, office workspace with an air handler. It could be anything from a very simple fan coil unit to a centralized building air, rooftop unit or something, pushing air into the common spaces. So we put the ionization, the purple in space. We have a high voltage electric field applied, which creates oxygen ions, which when injected into the room, basically will clean up particulate matter, odors, hydrogen sulfide, smoke. And the one that's getting the most attention, obviously, over the last 3 months is coronavirus. The technology is on. If the air handler is on, the plasma air technology is working. So it's delivering a continual stream of oxygen ions into the breathing space. And all we're doing in reality is up to the level that it is in the outdoors, healthy environment anyway. So it's creating a natural environment using an artificial means. Okay, so I'll just explain ionization, what it is, how it works. What I'm showing here on the vertical axis is the ion count, oxygen ion inside buildings and then out in your forests or by the ocean. So on the left-hand side, within the building, so in a natural environment. So again, nothing sinister about it. We're just using, as I said, an artificial means to create a natural environment. There are 4 ways that ionization actually does its job indoors. The first thing it does is the oxygen ions will attach to the particulate matter, whether it's PM 2.5, PM 1, and cause them to agglomerate, to stick together, which means when the air is going back through the return air path, it gets trapped in the filter. So a lot of times, filters, you've got a MERV 7 filter or something, but most of the particulate matter, it goes straight through it. So what ionization does is effectively increases the rating of a given filter. The second item here, and the most important one for today's discussion, is a virus or bacteria basically bond with the oxygen ions. And what that causes is it causes the cell to split, and it means they can no longer replicate. So if it's a virus, it can no longer attach to a live, it can attach to bacteria or to a live cell and replicate. It stops that action in its tracks. And of course, all of the particulate matter, hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, these were all the reasons that we were doing this 6 months ago. The reason has now predominantly changed to number 2 here. And then on number 4 here is things like formaldehyde, the smell of new carpets, new paint in buildings. It breaks that down into, water vapor. This is just a link to, on our website, we've got a press release that we just did with the Department of Defense in Spain, where we did a test, the test I spoke about earlier, where we nebulized coronavirus into the breathing space, and we tested then the surfaces and the air every minute for 10 minutes. So on the left-hand side here, you can basically see the blue is when there's no ionization. So the coronavirus content in the air is basically constant for the 10 minutes. It does not decrease. We then turn ionization on and do the test again, or in a separate control room, same level of coronavirus in the air, same level of temperature, all the variables are the same. And what you can see after 4 minutes, it decreases pretty radically. And after the 10 minutes, we're looking at a decrease in the air of 99% log 2. On the right-hand chart, what we're doing is, it's just a way of presenting the same data. On the left-hand side, we're looking at, so we have to show that. On the right-hand side, we're showing the percentage reduction of the bacteriophage. And once you get beyond 4 minutes, it's up at 99%. So pretty staggering. The last item there is we measured the coronavirus on the surfaces, whether it's this, walls, desks, and we got an 80% reduction in the surface coronavirus. Now, that's not to be confused with, we cleaned the surfaces before we started the test. You still need to do all the hand washing and the surface cleaning that the Lagos state has recommended that we do, but this will prevent contamination of the surfaces caused by people breathing, sneezing, etc. in the office space. I took a snippet here from the this is the Department of Health in Wuhan in China, where the problem basically started, and they're recommending plasma air sterilizers specifically in the isolation ward areas. So again, if these are the areas that are incredibly contaminated. So this test was sponsored by Jack Ma of Alibaba, and they're recommending plasma air for the isolation wards. I've got some again, just so you don't get the feeling that it's me telling you this all works. We've looked at the Journal of Aerosol Sciences, the New England Journal of Medicine, NEJM, JAMA, which is the American Medical Association. So all of them are talking about the fact that the virus exists in the air for a certain length of time. And the first item there, the Journal of Aerosol Science, is showing a 99% reduction on MS2 as well. So it agrees with the testing we've done, but we wanted to do it ourselves. I've then got one, I won't go through this in all its gory detail. So this is looking at various contaminations in the air, whether it's volatile organic compounds, formaldehyde, which is the most prevalent one, smoke, dust, H1N1, E. coli, MRSA, etc. The results are basically between 89 and 91% reduction. This was put together before we did the test on coronavirus, because as we know, it's not brand new, but it's brand new in terms of the prevalence in the market in the world. And then mold spores, again, over 90% in very short lengths of time. These are all third-party tests. This is not our lab. This is third-party testing. This is a test that we did in a very large residential complex in India, where we turned on the left-hand side is our lab result. The blue shows the forced reduction in the PM2.5 dust in the air. The gray is showing the natural decay of dust without ionization. And basically it's reducing slightly because the heavy particles fall out of the breathing space. On the right-hand side then, what you see is the same, so this is in a fan coil unit, high wall unit in an apartment. One of our customers did this test. You can see the green vertical line is when they turned on the ionizer, and they turned it off after the, I can't see it, it's behind the video screen here. But anyway, you can see that the signature of the decrease in the PM2.5 is basically exactly the same as the lab tests. This is showing for mold spore. It's worth pointing out that mold spores are a lot more difficult to kill than coronavirus. Coronavirus is actually, it's a deadly virus, but the ability of ionization to kill it is much stronger than the ability to kill mold. Mold spores go into this hibernation mode to protect themselves. But ionization still kills it over, a 9-minute period. This is looking at VOCs. This tends to be more interesting for people that are putting new buildings in place. They want to get LEED certification, and they need the odors from VOCs to be, very, very low. I guess all of this has kind of fallen into insignificance now compared to the real issue, which is coronavirus. These are some of the products. There's a whole product range spanning from the small little unit that is on the bottom right there. I have a sample here somewhere. Small little unit on the bottom right that will go directly into a fan coil unit and treat anything up to, we use American terminology, 2,500 CFM, to the top right-hand unit, which will do 10,000 CFM or 17,000 cubic meters an hour at 50 watts. That's fine. That's fine. Sorry, Paul. So, we won't go into all the detail here, but suffice it to say there are products that fit in the air handler, there are products that fit into the duct, there are products that fit in the fan coil units, et cetera, et cetera. And depending on, the contamination level, we help, and Paul and myself will help choose the specific product. Okay. The applications, I could fill this with ink. We've done all sorts of applications. I've just finished the 58 train station, new metro stations in the Riyadh. Oh, can I see the time there, just so I know where I am on time? In the Riyadh metro, we're doing actually doing some extremely large mosques. I'm not allowed to say which ones. Airports, LA, all sorts of interesting places. Cinemas, restaurants, plenty of offices. Here's some examples. You can see LAX airport there. Airports are getting a very large focus because as the world gets back to traveling again, and airport is obviously a key hub. So we're talking to airports in India, Bangkok, US, Panama, and here's some examples of some projects we've done. WPP, Deloitte's, VMware are all offices. We've also done the offices for the Marlboro cigarette factories in Turkey. So there's a good selection of here's some examples. Sorry, I forgot these were at the back end of the presentation. This is the Riyadh Metro. This was specified 4 years ago. Incredibly foresightful of AECOM when they specified plasma air in there. They were specifically interested in viruses, and here we are 4 years later. The thing just opens, and there's a pandemic. Total fluke, but they're feeling very clever. This is a hotel that we did. The old, some may recognize the JFK, the old TWA terminal at JFK. It's now a hotel, LAX. That's been going for 10 years. And sorry, Paul, you mentioned something. Yeah. Oh yeah. So sorry. So one of the key things here about treating on the air that's coming into the room, so it has no impact on coronavirus. Similarly, UV. We've got some customers come to us talking about using UV. Very strong UV has a minutia of a second to treat the virus, so it has no impact. Whereas the plasma air ionization solution, it's acting all of the time in the room because you're delivering the oxygen, and there's time for questions. I hope that was helpful.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you. You spoke extensively on how plasma air can be used to deactivate airborne viruses within the building. So it's more like internal solutions. We all know that the most transmission route to guard against is airborne, and that's because we have very little to protect us when we breathe. Yes, face mask can help, but even then, face mask can become very ineffective with the much smaller viruses. So with plasma air technology, we can actively deactivate these viruses so that we can continue to work safe at our various workplaces. Thank you for that presentation. So like we said at the beginning, all questions will be answered during the Q&A session. So we move to the next presenter. The presenter is going to focus on the external solutions. Chris has spoken on the internal, deactivating viruses within the building. That's the internal solution. So the next presenter will focus more on the temperature screening solutions that can be used to prevent those that are unfit from entering into the building. So Quadri, you have the floor now. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you all for staying online. In the next 20-25 minutes, we will be looking at other COVID-19 solutions for business operations. Thank you for taking time out and being here today. My name is Quadri Rahuf. I'm Head of Innovation and Learning at Basscomm Group. So I'll be introducing you to COVID-19 solutions by Basscomm Nigeria Limited. So like we all know, fever is a typical symptom of pneumonic COVID-19 infection. So according to the statistics of manifestation, 28 statutory infectious diseases out of 39 have fever symptoms in the early stage. So when you look at your flu, when you look at your cholera, when you look at your Ebola, when you look at plague and other form of diseases, in one way or the other, they have fever or high temperature at the early stage. So thus, body temperature measurement becomes important means of epidemic prevention and control. So with these measures in place, in our various workspace, we can discover this virus at the early stage. And this can result into early isolation. When you know you have this virus or someone around you have this virus, you can isolate at the early stage before we start transmitting these viruses. So when you isolate early, you have early reports of those that have these viruses. Today, we have several cases of transmission of these viruses, and governments are doing their best to trace people who have been in contact in the past. But with all these our solutions in place, we can detect this virus at the very early stage. We can report it, we can start treatment, and subsequently cut off this transmission. So Basscomm Nigeria was founded in November 1993, which means we have consistently provide practical business solution for almost 27 years. So we have our head office situated in Lagos, and we have other strategic locations in Port Harcourt and Abuja. So during our years of business operations, we have expanded across West Africa with our regional offices in Ghana, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, and Sierra Leone, and we are still expanding. So over these our 27 years in business, we span across 7 countries in West Africa, and we are still growing. So today, we'll be looking at 4 major contents in our agenda. We're going to be looking all about Basscomm. Who are we? What do we do? Also, we'll also be looking at what we are bringing to your table today, what we are offering you as our solutions. So our solutions offerings, our solution portfolio, we'll be looking at that as well today. And then we'll also look at some of our reference projects, and we have a summary of all these our solutions. And at the end of the presentation, we'll have our Q&A segment. So straight to the business of today. This morning, we'll be looking at our all-in-one temperature measurement and disinfectant channel. So from the entry point, we have a hand sterilizer, which we have to disinfect our hands. We also have a temperature face recognition to measure our temperature. And for a normal temperature, say a temperature around 36.7 degrees Celsius or up to 37 degrees Celsius, then you have a normal pass. So there is a voice prompt on the tunnel, which will give you normal temperature when your temperature is normal, up to 37 degrees Celsius. And even with your face mask on, it will capture your face and then give you that your face mask is on. So in a situation whereby we want to enforce a policy that all entrants or all visitors must put on their mask. So at the point of entrance into this tunnel, it will tell you when you are not using your mask, and you cannot even proceed by the security personnel. So when your temperature is normal, you have a green light, and it tells you your temperature, and you are good to go to the next unit where we have the antibacterial and antiviral unit to sterilize your full body. So within 5 seconds, all this process will be completed. From the entry point, you disinfect your hand, you capture your body temperature, and you go to the antibacterial and the antiviral units to sterilize the whole body, and consequently exit from the tunnel. So this is just a simple workflow of this our thermotherapy tunnel. So when you now get to the exit point of view, then you can have free access into the building. But in a situation whereby you have an alarm or a temperature above the predefined temperature, then the system will trigger an alarm, and from there the security personnel on duty can ask you to come out. They can do a further check, and if you pass, then you can enter the building. But if not, you will be recommended for further check and testing. So for any abnormal temperature of 38 degrees Celsius, an alarm is triggered. This is a safety measure in place to eradicate the spread of the virus in your workplace. So what does this therapy does? What of this particular tunnel does for your business? So in terms of the benefits of these solutions, it prevents the spread. It prevents the spread of the coronavirus and other infectious diseases in the workplace. So this smart disinfectant tunnel has an integration of the antibacterial and antiviral disinfectors. So you are having integration of both the temperature measurement and also the sterilization unit. So with these solutions in place, it cleans all the germs in your body as you are entering the building, and it also tell you your temperature if you are normal to enter the building. And all this process takes place within 5 seconds with our two technologies. We have the ultraviolet light disinfection and the atomization therapy. So unlike chemical approaches to water disinfection, this UV, this ultraviolet light, it provides rapid, effective inactivation of microorganisms. So when you look at your bacteria, when you look at your viruses, this unit, it helps you to inactivate all these viruses from the sterilization unit. And most importantly, it helps you to stop that spread of the effect. So which means the virus cannot reproduce after you have sterilized your full body. And like I said earlier, alarm is triggered when you have high temperature. Alarm is also triggered to help to detect and also eradicate spread in the workplace. So as we return, we have the new state now that new normal is a post-COVID-19 effect. So thermal temperature screening that we bring to you today will help businesses and organizations provide this confidence. So our temperature screening solution uses thermal camera technology to provide a contactless reading of a person's temperature. So basically, these thermal solutions only detect your temperature, and at an elevated temperature, it triggers an alarm. So if result of your temperature measurement is above a predefined level, our platform creates the tailor-made processes and procedures to manage these results and quickly and consistently while helping avoid human error. So which means we have different forms of solutions today in our market, but are they effective? Are they serving their purpose? So our solutions that we're bringing to you with our temperature screening solution, we give you that confidence that you can safely return back to your workspace without having concern of, am I safe? Am I not going to contact this virus? So we bring you this peace of mind, we bring you this confidence, and our solutions is ready to take care of that for you. So with our temperature screening solutions, we have different types of camera. So with wide range of applications and with different scenarios. From this screen here, we have the wireless camera. We also have the handheld camera. We also have other form of cameras, the thermal and optical camera. So we have explosion proof. We have different kind of cameras for different applications and different scenarios. So I'll just go to the next slide. So we'll look at the basic workflow of these solutions. So basic workflow of these our solutions. From the point one is the detection area. So this is where the camera, we have the camera or access control device positioned in a strategic location just to capture human body temperature. So when you proceed to the stage 2, we have the screening. So during this screening, we have human body temperature measurements. So the camera itself is the first stage where it is being positioned. But when you get to the stage 2, the screening itself takes place. So this our device will do the screening, whether you are considering your touchless biometric device, whether you are considering your palm to do the detection, whether you are considering your face to do the detection, whether you are even using camera. At this point, the screening takes place, and you then proceed to the stage 3 where the system performs its operation. In this place, the information of this system is processed, and when it is processed, it's either you have a normal temperature or a potential abnormal or elevated temperature. So if a person has an average temperature now, so to say, no alert is created, and they can easily proceed to the last stage and get access into the building effectively. So, but with high temperature, yes, this will result into an alert. So an alarm is created, and they can do a further check before that person is admitted into the facility. So at this final stage, that's where we have a second check, and then we are good to enter, or we are instructed to do further check, and probably we start considering the treatment that is required. So we're now going to look at the pain point of the conventional methods. Like I said, today, there are a lot of thermal solutions. There are a lot of even all this forehead thermometer, which is being used to scan human temperature. Are they effective? We are going to look at that. So what are the pain points of the conventional methods? What are the challenges that we have using this conventional method? So number one, there is high risk associated with that conventional method. So high risk in the sense that this temperature are being captured at a very close distance. So which means the person that is capturing the temperature and the person that is being measured, they stand a chance of high risk. So they stand a chance of high risk because there is close contact. So that one is not effective, and that's one of the conventional way of how this temperature is taken. So there's also another one which is increased manpower required. When you need to measure a lot of people at the same time, there is need to increase your manpower. And imagine a camera that can capture up to 30% per second, and you need to now be pointing a forehead thermometer. Maybe it will take at least 3 seconds. It will take at least 3 seconds to capture a person. So this is not a good approach. So, and also lack of intelligence analysis. In this conventional method, you need to do a lot of manual registration. Maybe a first person come in, you take the temperature, you need to impute it in a place so that you can be able to, at least you can be able to see, to compare in the future. So manual registration is required. And then when you now look at the other one, our approach to this technology, we give you a better approach to this technology. We incorporate a competent technologies. So when you look at our solutions, for instance, you need to measure 5,000 people at the same time. It will approximately take you up to 4 hours, 12 minutes using our forehead thermometer. But with our solutions, in less than 20 minutes, you can measure all the temperature of these people. So our innovative technologies ensure that screening statistics can be effectively analyzed, and you can also export all these results into a chart, and you can use it to monitor your progress. So filtering is also important. When you want to compare result to result, you want to know the number of people, you want to know the average number of temperature you've captured, you want to handle incidents. So our approach, our technology gives you that ability to monitor your facility effectively, to do an analysis, intelligent analysis, whereby you can know the number of people that is entering your building, you can know their average temperature, you can do some incidents, you can probe for some incidents, and you can know results by locations. And also, this report can also be easily shared and also outputted in PDF or Excel format. So we have a thermal video clips and are stored for quick, convenient access. So it is highly safe, it is faster, it is efficient, and it can be adaptable to your needs. So we'll be taking a look at a simplified architecture of our thermal solutions. The installation can be as simple as it is displayed in the, on the screen currently. So camera is positioned. Camera is positioned at a strategic location, whereby you can just have the camera at the entrance point, for instance, and you have it connected directly to your PC with just a simple patch cord. So which means from this point here, you can get the normal temperature as fast, and you can have abnormal temperature or a form of a temperature above the predefined level. So this, in your organization, you can choose that the highest temperature you want in your facility is 36.8. So any temperature above that range will be tagged an abnormal temperature and will require further check. So this our simple architecture can be as simple as this, and we also have other complex architecture whereby we introduce black body for more calibration and for more accuracy. So we have all these solutions available. So we'll quickly take a look at the next solutions, which is our body temperature and body temperature measurement, and also metal detector. So these are solutions. Basically, is just to detect metal and also temperature. So it's an integration of these two systems together. So in a situation whereby a visitor is in possession of a dangerous weapon, just like a gun or knife or any form of metal, so alarm is triggered and the system display the exact location where the alarm is triggered. So from this walk-through metal detector and with temperature measurement integration, you can measure a temperature of human body. So looking at the human body temperature measurement, it has a built-in high-precision infrared temperature sensor which scans and screens the body temperature of human. We can see from the screen the infrared sensor. This infrared sensor basically is to do two things. Number one, it measures the temperature of human body, and it also measure and also scan your equipment. Anything that you have in your possession, it's also scan it. So in a situation whereby we have a form of a dangerous weapon, so this will trigger an alarm, is to secure your building and at the same time ensure that this COVID-19 or any other related diseases are not transmitted into your workplace. So we also have another one, which is the voice prompt. So when this temperature or metal is detected, it's broadcast, telling you normal temperature, metal detected, or a custom-made voice note that you may want to record into your system. So with these two, with this technology in place, you can secure the entrance into your facility. Whether you are considering the main entrance, whether you're considering the back entrance, you can secure the entrance into your facility. So there are also key points that you have, key features of this system, like self-diagnosis function. So this system runs a form of self-check on the system when power is on, and it also displays this result. So there are other features that can also be gotten from this system. So we also have our touchless biometric solutions with body temperature and mass detection. So this solution basically is a form of access control system. So in a building where we have our speed style, where we have our turnstile, when we have our tripod, we can install this device at the entry point. So it's touchless system. You don't have to touch the system before you gain access. With a tilt of your palm or with your face, you can gain access into this facility. We have the walk-through metal detector. We have the face and palm access control system. This system is safe and is secure for your facility. So we have the application scenarios of these solutions. So these solutions that we're talking about can be used in schools, at the entrance of the college building, at the dormitory. You can also have it in a retail shops like your malls, your supermarket, your restaurant. It's practically applicable, cut across all the sections. So whether you're considering your office building, whether you're considering your worship center, whether you're considering your school, whether you're considering airport, these are solutions is applicable. So at the point of the entrance, we have most of this system installed to capture temperature and also probably grant or deny access. So when right temperature is detected, it grants access into the facility. And when the abnormal temperature is detected, it triggers an alarm and they look for further check and see the next action. So in these turbulent times, it is more important than ever that you can focus on your business. Once you have installed our thermal camera screening solution into your network, you will enjoy peace of mind that we have your back covered. Your thermal camera comes with a 12 or 24-month warranty, depending on the brand that we propose to you. So we have the thermal camera installation currently at Standard Chartered Bank and in Nigeria and Ghana. So we also have these disinfectant channel temperature measurement devices and other solutions that are currently being set up in our demo site. We are available to take you to our demo site to see how this system works live. So we are available to take you through these live practicals and see how the system functions, look at the features of the system, then you can now make your decision. I believe with this few points of mine, we can also have another session for us to have this kind of further discussion. We are open to meeting you. We are open to presenting more to you at your earliest convenient time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Audrey, for that detailed presentation, and sincere apologies to attendees for the poor network. Okay, thank you. Thanks so much for the presentation. Like we mentioned at the beginning, we'll have the Q&A session at the end. Just before we start, Paul now to take us through some of the product solution offerings of VED Environmental Group. Paul, you have the floor now.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorothy. Pleasure to be here today. My name is Paul Vandenberg. I'm the Managing Director of Verde Environmental Nigeria. I'm just going to take you through, I'm conscious of time here today for everybody, so I'm just going to take you through a brief introduction to Verde and what we do, and then also to briefly introduce you to another solution which is gaining traction due to coronavirus and the implications of it. Back to Verde Environmental Nigeria is a Nigerian company. I personally have been living in Lagos since 2012. At this moment in time, I'm stuck in Ireland. I can't get back because over the next couple of weeks, I'll be back as soon as the airport's open, and I'm sure I'll be getting my temperature checked by one of Basscomm's fantastic looking temperature thermometers. Verde Environmental Nigeria is part of the Verde Environmental Group. We are originally an Irish company. We have over 65 and have been in business for actually it's 18 years. We started the business back in 2002. It's 100% employee owned, active in 4 countries, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Ireland and the UK. We've 3 business services areas, and I'll cover those in a short while. Quality, health and safety, environmental performance are cornerstones of Verde business. And as such, we have implemented ISO 9001, 14001 for environmental practices, and 18001 for health and safety. We're also members we are part of DPR, Federal Ministry of Environment. We're members of the International Environmental Management Association, International Spill Accreditation Association, and numerous other associations with quality bodies. Our business services are generally, we started as a contracting company covering oil remediation, contamination impact assessment and remediation, and then developed a consultancy business which covers a spectrum of services from contaminated land through to energy services, water and wastewater, groundwater resource development, EIAs, effectively a whole range of services across the consultancy field. In fact, our remediation business, we're involved in, you're familiar with Maryland-Mende down in the Delta. We're involved down there carrying out projects down in Maryland for the high prep for the cleanup of the impacted areas down in the Delta. We also have a products and technology division with water and wastewater treatment solutions and air treatment technology, specifically plasma air. I'd like to at this point reiterate some of the points that my colleague Chris Russell from Plasma Air stated in relation to plasma air. It's very important, I think, to state that the difference between plasma air and existing filtration technologies is plasma air is treating the air inside the room. It is not treating what existing filtration systems do, is the air coming into the room. So what they're designed to do is, whether it be in the ducting or filtration, they're designed to prevent pollution coming in from the outside. Plasma air treats the air in the room, and effectively contamination or viruses which are generated by people breathing within the air spaces of the room, within the office, within the hotel room, within the airport. It is generated by people. Coronavirus is generated by people, and plasma air is actively treating the air within the room. So that's a fundamental difference, and it's unique to this plasma air technology. As I said, filters are great for taking contamination out of outside air coming into a room, but it will do nothing for treating active viruses within the room, and that's a fundamental difference I just wanted to reiterate there. Here's just a small glimpse of some of the clients across a broad range of sectors, from, as I said, high pollution restoration project, remediation project in Nigeria, Fort Oil, you're familiar with, the 7-Up bottling company, Nigeria, through to drinks companies, Pernod Ricard. We also do the groundwater development for Jameson whiskey, the international brand, which you're familiar with, I'm sure, in Nigeria. We look after the water, so if you get a bad bottle of Jameson, you can blame Verde. But just a brief view of some of the range of clients that we have. Briefly, as I stated, we also do a lot of water and wastewater treatment. We're active in the market in Nigeria. In fact, we are doing a lot of water and wastewater treatment products in Lagos at the moment. We're involved with the Farm for Oil Tower, and you're familiar with, which we're putting in a wastewater treatment system. And our solutions would range from non-electric treatment systems, which would deal with a population of maybe 75 population, to the traditional extended aeration systems, which we're not really in favor of, but we get requests and we do provide them, through to sequential batch reactors, which are similar to extended aeration, but actually with the SBR, you can actually guarantee the effluent reach the required standards required under Nigerian law and under Lagos state law. Another product we would deal with would be the biodisc, which is a rotating biological contactor, again for populations up to maybe 100. And this would be a very low power based solution with very moving parts and very little maintenance required. Moving up populations, and this is one actually where we are installing in the Farm for Oil Tower to deal with a population of 1,900 people. These come in containerized systems, and really are older, and they work by treating the sewage through biomedia, where bacteria grows on the media, and as the sewage passes through, it treats the effluent or the influent to reach very high levels of effluent. into the membrane bioreactor. Again, large populations, slightly more complicated than the MBBR systems, but again, it suits particular needs, and it's just to show there's a range of solutions there for our technology comparisons there. It's interesting that at the moment, certainly here in Ireland, in order to monitor coronavirus, government bodies are taking samples from existing treatment systems or from sewage going into treatment systems to see what sort of levels of coronavirus there are, and whether there are shifts in the levels, whether there are increases in the levels, to try and tackle it at an early stage. To water treatment, again, I suppose our expertise started in water treatment from groundwater resource development, where we are asked by clients to develop resources, sustainable resources for manufacturing processes, for industrial estates. In fact, we're involved in groundwater resource development in Edo State for a large industrial park. As I said, we look after Jameson whiskey, and we do a large amount of work for pharmaceutical businesses. And that's where our expertise developed from. And from there, we moved into providing water treatment solutions. So upgrading existing water treatment plants and to the construction provision of plants, whether they are centralized or decentralized. And also solar-powered water treatment units, which we are, again, have designed specific ones down for to clean up down in Ogoniland. As I said, treatment technologies include everything from filtration, media filtration, clarification, to reverse osmosis, oxidation and disinfection, and UV and ozone. So again, from small systems to very large systems. I suppose what I wanted to introduce you briefly, and this is, I said I'm conscious of time, so I just wanted to introduce you briefly to a lot of traction at the moment in throughout the world with clients. This is a solution provided by Basscomm Group, which Verde are involved with, in fact, as investors. And just because it's a different tack on coronavirus, it's not dealing with health and safety, but it's dealing with the implications of what the pandemic has done to our working environment. And as you're all aware, there's an awful lot of people now working from home remotely, and the implications of that from a security point of view for companies. So these products effectively is enabling, it's really targeted at small to medium-sized companies, provided through telecom operators, as well as directly through IT solution providers. But it's a secure and affordable virtual network for multiple office connectivity. So effectively, you know, we're connecting to work from homes nowadays that are still working from home at the moment. And that will continue, maybe to a smaller degree, but I think it's something that we're all going to be living with from now on. And at the moment, when you connect through a hotel or at home or, you know, coffee shops or wherever, your connection is not secure. What this service does is it creates a separate network where you connect to that network, which then connects to the Wi-Fi at home, to the Wi-Fi in the hotel, to the Wi-Fi in the cafe or restaurant or wherever you are. And that private network, and it can be VPN, but it can also be a direct solution. That private network is totally secure. It's basically what it does is it secures your workers' internet connections no matter where they connect. Okay, it manages the entire network. So any device connected to this network is secure. It's protected from malware. It's protected from phishing, and it doesn't impact. It's a cloud-based, so it does not impact on bandwidth. It can filter content, so the employer can filter unwanted content like pornography or whatever is required. That can be set up. You can have it working from home, take it with you. It's simply a little unit, a very small unit about that size, maybe by, we say 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, which you pop it in your bag and you connect it up, and it allows you work securely from anywhere. So I said I would mention it here. It probably requires some more time to go through it in detail. But I said it's something that is gaining a lot of traction at the moment because we're having to change the way we work, and it gives companies, particularly small to medium-sized companies, who are affordable solutions to protect the information on their servers and to ensure secure networks, a solution for them. So listen, that's all for me. I thank you very much for your time, and I'll pass you back on to Dorothy. Thank you, Dorothy.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. So quickly, we are almost running out of time. We'll move on to the Q&A. A couple of questions from the attendees. So I think we should start responding now. There's a question an attendee wants to, this is Shane, he wants to find out how we can help a potential client to leverage their current infrastructure to accommodate this new CCTV temperature system. Can you help with that?
Okay, thank you for that question, Mr. Femi. Sorry?
Seun.
Okay, Mr. Seun. Okay, Mr. Oluwa Seun, thanks. All right, first of all, for a potential client to leverage our technology with their existing solution is very simple. So first thing we'll do is we carry out a feasibility study. Like we all know, there is an industry where multiple cameras can be integrated together and being monitored and controlled from a single endpoint. So we'll carry out a feasibility studies, do a compatibility check, and select the appropriate solution. But what I can tell you is that the interface is open for integration. So which means access control system from different manufacturer and also CCTV system from different manufacturer with this ONVIF can sit on the same back end and we can communicate to each other. So feasibility study is required. We do a compatibility check with the system and we select the appropriate solutions. So in the past, we've had some experience whereby we pick up the wrong type of camera due to unqualified engineer and the likes. So if you have a qualified engineers, we have a qualified engineers actually that can help you do that. So, and once that is done, we can integrate the existing solution with thermal technologies. I hope I'm able to answer your question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Quadri, for that detailed response. Okay, so we have another question from Ope. Ope wants to know if remote monitoring with if remote monitoring and control is possible with thermal camera. You know, like you have in IP CCTV. So is it possible that one can do remote monitoring and control with thermal camera?
Yeah, very possible, ma'am. So having a remote monitoring and control is possible. You are in a remote location. That is very much possible. Like what we're doing with Standard Chartered Bank now. In West Africa, we can connect to their system from any location. So from one location to the other, with the help of the wide area network, we can have access into one region, from one region to another region. We can be here in Nigeria and configure Gambia to work. So similar to these kind of solutions, remote connection is very much possible. You just need to understand the client's requirements, and we'll document this during our survey, and we will select the appropriate solution. So thank you, it's very much possible.
All right, thank you. Couple of questions on plasma. Unfortunately, Chris had another engagement, but Paul, you can help with that question. There's a question here, and it says, if bipolar ionization is safe for continuous use around people.
Yes, it is, absolutely. As Chris mentioned, ionization is a natural phenomenon in the air. So out in the countryside, you'll find very high levels. Actually, you'll find anywhere between 900 to 1200 ions, positive and negative ions per cubic centimeter, naturally in the environment. And that's why you don't have any viruses out in those environments. When you get to cities, the presence of positive and negative ions drops significantly. The presence of positive and negative ions in the air drops significantly. And when you get into buildings, it drops again. So it's very, very low indeed. And all plasma air is doing is effectively artificially replicating what is present outside in the natural environment. So the answer to the question in short is yes, it's absolutely safe for human beings.
All right, thank you. So how often should the ionization tubes be replaced? How often can that be replaced?
Well, not all plasma air products have tubes or pins that need replacement. It depends very much on the application and where the units need to be placed. For most products, tubes and that placement, it depends on airflows, on usage, and so on. But on average, one would certainly 2 years, okay. But it may be longer. It depends on airflows, etc.
Okay, so a question here from Popola that he wants to know the long-term effects of ionization devices on human. Is there any standalone device for window unit AC?
Yes, for domestic use, there's no long-term impact of ionization on human beings. They can be, plasma air can be, there is no, what happens with the positive and negative ions is they're consumed with the particles in the air. So coming in contact with particles, airborne viruses, mold production, and so on, the ions are consumed and they destroy the viruses and they're consumed themselves. So there is no, so the answer to the question again is no long-term effect on human beings. It's a perfect natural process. You don't see it in the air.
Okay. All right, Paul, thank you. Now, someone wants to know that, Bello, in a simple terms, what is thermography? Can you explain a bit what thermography is?
Okay, thermography is otherwise known as thermal imaging. We normally hear the word thermal camera. It's just, this thermography is just a specialist techniques that is being used with our infrared for different applications. So this infrared sensors is used for different applications. We can use it for on human body. We use it for temperature checks. And then for buildings as well, we use it to inspect buildings where there are hotspots. We use it to inspect electrical equipment and other machineries too. So it's just to detect normal or abnormal temperature. So in a building now whereby we have a form of hotspot in our electrical installation, this thermography technology can be used to detect that point before it turns into a form of high heat, or before it causes fire in the building. So it's basically is just a technology that uses infrared sensitive camera for different applications. Thank you.
Okay, Corey, is there a special way to select the right thermal camera?
Yes, well, nothing really much
so
on that. So
how do we select the right thermal camera?
Okay, yeah, nothing really much on that. We have to, in selecting the right camera, we know there are a lot of cameras for different applications. So from our experience, in fact, in the last few months, we have to intervene because a wrong camera was selected. When I was explaining thermography earlier, there are some cameras specialized for building inspection, for diagnostics, and those cameras were being installed on the site to measure human body temperature. So it's two different applications entirely. So in selecting the right camera, we need an experienced thermographers. We need an experienced thermographer to carry out this. Oh, in our organization, we recommend level 2 and above to carry out this inspection. So when they carry out this inspection, we give you a precise and detailed report featuring comment and advice. And with this in place, we will be the one to select for you. Sometimes too, like I said, in this last 2 months, we have some clients that specify a camera for us, that we want this camera for our building. And the question we ask, what do you want to use this camera for? What is the application? And they tell us this is the application. We told them this camera will not do the work. If you're looking at measuring human temperature, then this is the camera that will work. So this requires a form of an high-level expert to intervene. But selecting the right camera is not the problem, but the person selecting that camera. So we as a Basscomm Group, we have report to ensure that you have the right camera. We help you, we explain to you, and we also enlighten you on how the system works. That's what we do. So selecting the right camera it requires a lot of training that we don't, it's not what we can actually explain with this medium, but we can help you. You can consult us, we'll help you select your right camera for your right applications. Thanks.
All right, Corey. So in a nutshell, only trained experts can be used, only trained expert can select the right camera for thermal solution.
Exactly, ma'am. Okay. Exactly.
So plasma air can be retrofitted to any system, where it be single AC units or to centralized HVAC systems, or alternatively, they can be fitted to systems. Said it doesn't make any installed after, as said, after the fan section of the HVAC system. And as said, it can be retrofitted to any system. So we're currently looking at 2 hotels, one under construction or the plan for construction in Lagos. So as I said, it applies to both. There's no parts that require replacement.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question on sewage treatment. So can treated sewage be reused or recycled?
Well, the answer to that is yes, it can. It oftentimes, most of the time, it isn't. And the reason it isn't is because to get to a point where it is recycled and reused, it has to be treated to the nth degree. So it would be way above the requirements for in Nigeria. But the technology is there, but most of our clients, it's not a requirement, because obviously to a standard you treat, the more expensive it becomes to treat that sewage. But in a nutshell, Dorothy, yes, you can do it. And in fact, I know there's a project in Africa that the Bill Gates Foundation are involved in, where they're doing exactly that, and they're drinking the water. You know, the sewage end, it's an expensive process and not required. The standards in Nigeria are more than sufficient to dispose to the environment, and that's the standards that we generally requested to work to.
All right, Paul. Thank you. We're running out of time, but Corey, last question. Since we want to know the Longita installation, and what is the warranty and maintenance plan?
Okay, thanks for that question. Basically, most of our, like I said during the course of my presentation, most of our equipment from our OEMs comes with 12-month or 24-month warranty on their cameras. So when you're looking at the thermal cameras, most of it come with 24 months. And for the other cameras, which is a black body that is being used for calibration to get better accuracy, that comes with 12-month warranty. And for our installation, we give free maintenance for 6 months or 1 year, depending on the terms of contract. So I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, Paul. So is the ionization HVAC solution a substitute for the use of nose masks in workplace?
We are very much in favor of working to WHO guidelines, the World Health Organization guidelines, which generally all countries are following. So we would see it as an additional protection. As Chris said in his presentation, it has been proven to kill coronavirus in the air within buildings. It's 99% effective. So if you have plasma air in the room, if you're washing your hands and taking all the precautions that the government guidelines recommend, the chances obviously of getting coronavirus are reduced dramatically. Because it kills 99%, obviously there's still 1%. there. But effectively, I said, we would recommend wearing face masks where the government guidelines and WHO guidelines say, but it's extremely effective. And it's the only effective treatment, air treatment, for killing viruses in the air. You can just, and I didn't touch on it, you can use UV and in the evening where they have rubber go around treating the air. But once they stop the treatment, the UV on the air, and someone walks in and they happen to have a coronavirus, the virus will spread again. So plasma air is the only solution that is actively, continuously, as long as the ventilation system is on or the air conditioning system is on, is continuously and actively killing coronavirus in the air. And I see, Dorothy, there's a few other questions there on that from an attendant to answer those questions.
Yes, the core application of the solution to curbing the spread of COVID-19. Yes, I wanted you to finish the first one before I ask the second question.
Okay, sure. Well, thank you. Well, the core application of the solution is to be installed wherever you have people in buildings, airports, in airport terminals, in hotels, in office buildings, in metros, bus stations. You know, wherever you have people sharing space, airspace and rooms, really you should be installing a plasma air technology to kill the virus. I said it's virus. And once there are people congregating together, there's a potential for the virus to spread. And I said, I reiterate again, it's important that we follow the government guidelines in Nigeria and the World Health Organization guidelines. This is just a copper fastening of a protection. And I said, masks are useful and do act as some protection, but they are limited in their protection. Masks are limited in their protection, and you get various different types of grade of masks. You get 2-layer masks, 3-layer masks, KN95 masks, N95 masks, and so on. But they are limited, and they don't always prevent smaller particulates and bacteria passing through the mask, whereas ionization and plasma air will attack things.
All right, thank you so much for answering that question. So just before we wrap up, Quadri, did you have any last words or any thoughts that you want to cover more before we end this session? Quadri.
Oh, okay, sorry. Like I said at the beginning, we're already running out of time. So we will look at this Q&A thoroughly and we'll respond to all questions that we could not attend to during this time. So I'll personally get you an answer via an email after this webinar. Thank you.
Yes, any comments from you, Paul? Okay. Any last word, any comments?
Yeah, Dorothy and Quadri, I just wanted to firstly thank Basscomm for the opportunity here to discuss solutions. And I said, I say that Basscomm have some very impressive solutions, and it's all there to help companies deal with this massive pandemic and effect of the coronavirus. And pleasure to be with you today, and hopefully we've managed to give some insights into ways we can deal with this pandemic going forward.
All right,
so thank you very much indeed.
Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. For inquiries and requests that you have, we would like you to send them to us, and like Cody mentioned, other questions and clarifications that you require will also share with you when we are sending the thank you videos. Thank you for joining us today. See you next time.
Much.
Thank you.